Yeah, so this land is your land. Before we do any of this, you need to go back to last week's lesson and do it over. Specifically just working on the range of motion for strumming, starting to get that to feel more natural. So please stop your video and spend however long it takes to feel like playing a chord like E minor or G where you're on all 6 strings, or if your hand gets tired, just hitting open strings, where you can play those rhythms that we first down, 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 up, down, up. And we had that nick on your guitar where we were going to use it as a landmark, but either way, much wider range of motion than you'd anticipated and less velocity, like a golf swing. We're looking for, I have grazed all the strings with the same amount of attack. Attack is how hard I hit versus I'm here. That's like what would happen if we had like something blocking us here and here. So yeah, I would assume that's us. We're playing a drum, not a harp. So stop, do that, and then let's just look at this line as your land. So talking through it, there's 3 chords in it. There's D, and there's G, and there's A. But before we worry, so maybe just stop and show yourself those shapes with however long you pause in between. Cool. So we are going to forego the process of hitting specific strings on each chord. Like on D, you're theoretically supposed to just hit the 4 high strings. Well, we decided we'll just bang through it and it'll sound okay as long as you hit all 6 strings. With D, something you can do though is that your thumb will actually on the neck of your guitar. Let me not even bring that up. So, you know, right now you've gone back and you're comfortable with all those rhythms. We have the first page where I was going through it, you know, in a different fashion. Don't look at the page. We're doing this in small sections right now so that you can, it's your goal to be memorizing this song as you go, which if we look at it, it's not, I mean, this is stuff we've been doing since kindergarten, deciding this happened 4 times, then this happened twice, then this happened twice. Then there's this section here, so let's not over-intellectualize that part. It's totally just like going down, 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 up, down, up. It's just a little thing assigning, you know, words to motions. Each one of this, you know, so there's nothing on the page for you as we're working in little sections. So rhythm 3 from last time is the one we're using in this song. Down, 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 up, or 1, 2, 3, and 4, and try not to have like a fight flight. Now I'm playing a song, this is going to be harder. It's exactly the same. You know, the first rhythm we did was just drum, drum. The second one we did was jiggy, jiggy, jiggy. This is drum, drum, jiggy, jiggy. And it's actually exactly your rhythm 3. Great. So, you know, the way the song goes is you do that 4 times through on D, like it indicates on both of the pages where we wrote out this land is your land. Each one of these measures is 1, dum, dum, jiggy, jiggy, which is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. So you're going to do it 4 total times. Second time. Third time. Last time. Great. We've been spending a lot of time on your right hand or strumming hand. Now it's time to entirely take the focus off that and learn the first chord change of the song. Which, like we were talking about during the lesson, where I would rather you knew the first chord change and never played the rest of the song than knew the whole thing with big pauses. We're not going to include this step. And the way we're going to do that is now stop in your practice and just work on going from D to G. And with an unlimited amount of time, notice tendencies. Like with D, it seemed like your ring finger was prone to landing 1 string too high, or the whole thing 1 string too high. D is occurring on the highest 3 strings on your instrument. And so and then we talked about how with a half and half chord like that, where your brain is processing it as this and that, you can trick yourself into doing it all at once by going this and that. So before we actually do a chord change, try to just go from nothing to D all at once. You know, going this and that, if you will. Take however long that takes, which if you're constantly focused on it, shouldn't be that much time. So, you know, when we're going between D and G, our ring finger actually just scoots down one string towards the ground, not a tremendous amount of movement. And the other two fingers, you have an easy time picturing where they go, which is, the two parts there. So we're just verbally noticing that that's the case. And this is definitely a half and half chord too, where most people tend to go this and that. What we want to avoid when doing D to G specifically is having your ring finger come along with these fingers, so your whole hand is spreading out, and so yeah, and this is where we see having your finger buckle this way being a problem, because it makes the other two strings hard to reach. So just be sure your nails are cut, we're coming straight in and out of the instrument. So and we tap this here, you're kind of thinking about E clear G as that finger there, and now you're like, oh yeah, that one. Anyway, this is you in your practice at home later. So just, this should take 10 minutes or something but the thing is to actually consciously focus on what you're doing. If you notice that this time around your ring finger came up, do anything else the next time. Even if you tear the guitar in half, you're looking at going from this to this, and just do it over and over. You can do single strums if you want, but, there it is. So, stop and do that. Having done that, we're now going to discuss an open strum and get into another chord for the first time in the song. So we're going to pretend now that the song ends at, you've just played through D 4 times, and the very first strum of G. When you the very first chord change, the very first strum of that chord, you've just gone once, twice, and what's more, we're not going to play all 4 of these, you're just going to go the last measure of D, switching to G, having already spent the time doing this and working on the rhythm. So here's where we're introducing the concept of the open strum, which is just normally how we play guitar, which is that, on this very last strum, the order we're going is there's 2 downs and a down, up, down, up. This is a rhythm you did last time. Not a problem unless you have like a fight flight thing occur. So we're going down, 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 up, down, up, half rhythm 1 and half rhythm 2 from last time. And it will be on that very last up strum where your hand will actually depart on its way to the next chord, and you will actually be hitting open strings exclusively, so that will sound like. It'll sound bad is if you pause there or you hit the up strum harder than all the other ones. So it's during that time where you actually execute the chord change. So we have 2 split seconds, not 1 split second. And you're only at this part of the video already having tricked convinced your hand it can actually do that. So now you're good at the rhythm and the first chord change, and we're just going to try to go once through D at a snail's pace, with the open strum actually getting to G. So that's going to go, down, 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 up, switch. Boom. That's all you're doing over and over again. You can go as slow as. Again, this is only having learned the chord change. Just doing it on the fly would require super pause. So that's what you're working on right now, is just 1 D up to the first strum of G, completing that first chord change. Great, awesome. So let's now pretend the song, so you're great up till here, you haven't moved on. This is better to be up to here finished and not have to take the rest of the song than kind of to play the whole song. So, the song goes, we play through D 4 times, and then there's 2 times where it goes G twice, D twice, and that's our, from the countdown to the breeze, from the same thing again to the same thing again. So that's the subsection we're looking at right now. So first task is doing the complete converse of what you were just doing. This won't be nearly as hard as learning a new chord change, but we're going to look at going from G to D. And this will have similar problems from last time. Our ring fingers just scooting one string up while these move drastically. Let's not talk too much about that. It's the same change we've been doing the other way around. If you think about it, every time that you went back to D, you were doing that already. But let's go ahead and spend time on it, pretending that the song starts right where we were ending. So we're going twice through G, trying to get to the first strum of D. Still using that open strum for the very last one, so that's going to sound like. Including being able to go as slow as like. Or you could theoretically go just G once, D once, as that's the hard part. What we're doing right now is while I have to switch chords that fast. Cool. So now you've learned everything to play 3/4 of the song. It goes, there's a bunch of D, there's a bunch of D, and it goes G to D 2 total times, G to D again, and then it goes D, A, D, as in this. So it'll seem like, you know, you're playing 6 times through D, or it ends with D. This is a chord progression that ends with the same chord that begins with. So, you know, and I'm doing the same process for all of this stuff. I'm letting you know, just working on it. So stop and get really good at the G to D part, where you can actually get through it successfully with some feel, you know, feeling like you're at 150% of your capability every time you get it right. And so now we're just going to be myopic and focus on the bottom line of the song, which is all that remains. First and foremost, just looking at D to A. Strategically, what's happening is, you know, these 2 fingers are moving up to the same shape we're used to for E minor, but it's on a string grouping lower, and your ring finger goes under it. So your ring finger is actually just scooting back 1 fret on the same string. We get analytical about this. It's going from, you know, here to there. So economy of movement wise, which wouldn't, you know, be exactly. So just pointing that out. So we want to make sure not to to move it in any other direction. Anyway, so stop and have a really boring, mind-numbing 10 minutes of going from D to A. And as long, you know, when you're doing your A, as long as you're getting in between the frets, it's fine. You're squeezed in, no big deal. So great. So, you know, this is all implied that we're doing the same things we were before. So now you're going. I've learned these left-hand changes, and I'm going to turn my volume off. I'm going to get to the first strum of A, starting with D. So 1 D, first strum of A. Stop, do it again, stop, do it again, until you actually can do it, and then you've learned everything in the song. There's 3 total chords. So this is the thing, you know, having actually followed along with this video, we've learned to do it in small sections where you actually have a shot at finishing this in a couple hours, versus just unleashing you on, here's the rhythm, play D 4 times. But yeah, so just let's not over intellectualize the chord changes. You know, it's 4 Ds, then it goes G, D, G, D twice. And then there's this D, A, D. Fortunately, we're picking a song you've heard a whole bunch of times, so there we are. I'm going to play once through the whole thing. 2, 3, 4. Second time. Third time. Last time. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. if you get through this once, we're psyched. And really, you haven't tried this stuff on the bottom of the line until you're good at doing the change to the G chord, part one, just working on the stuff in the brackets, and then chiming all of that until you can complete it, and then adding the last bit. But really, we're playing rhythm 3 from last time. So things, short-term goals, you can actually do these chord changes. You can play this song however it sounds. Long-term goals, I actually feel like I've got this strumming thing down versus having to kind of really work on the not doing this with that. So feeling completely natural at that is a long-term task, but not long medium-term. Learning the chord changes to this song, D, G, and A, is a short-term task. So yeah, just some kind of version of that song. There you go.